Hi, I'm Keon Marcel, radio host.
Welcome to the only show, CrossTheFatal.com, Power 357,
Web series host.
Welcome to Curbside Pickup.
One thing I like to do most is relaxing at home, making very simple meals. Meals so simple that will make you say, damn, that's easy.
Welcome to Damn That's Easy. I'm your host, Keon Marcel. And on Damn That's Easy, what we will be doing is we will be preparing recipes so easy that the average everyday chef or cook at home could prepare it. You don't need special training. You don't need a degree in chefology to do these meals. All these meals will be very easy and simple. So look, don't worry. We're going to make sure we walk you through everything so you can understand the full process of easy cooking. Now let's get started. On today's episode, what we're going to be making is my chocolate peanut butter ganache cake. Now, if you're wondering what a ganache is, it's just some fancy term to basically say fudge topping. That's really what it is. So simple, so don't be scared by the word ganache because I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Let's go ahead and get started with this recipe. So here's what you're going to need to start off. Very simple. Buy your favorite brand of chocolate cake mix. How hard is that? Very simple, very easy. And all we're going to do is follow the directions on the back of the box. If you can't follow the directions on the box, this show can't help you. It just can't. All right, so what we're going to do, very simple. Open up the box of cake mix. Now, let me tell you this. If you run into some chefs that have a formal chef training and they're like, oh no, you can't use a box cake mix. Shut up. We're using the box cake mix. And that's what you tell them. Mind your business. Let me use my chocolate cake mix. Easy, right? Now let's follow the direction. You need 1 cup of water, half a cup of oil, 3 eggs. Simple, right? Let's get the oil. Gonna grab some oil here. Get a regular measuring cup. What we're gonna need is 1 cup of water. Now make sure that you measure exactly what it tells you to do. If you go with too much on the water, well, you're gonna have a soupy cake and it's not gonna be done quick. Now, if you're looking for a volcano cake, it might work out for you. So let's dump 1 cup of water over into there. Now it says we need a half a cup of oil. Now I'm just using regular canola oil. You can use vegetable oil, but what the oil does, it keeps it moist. So I'm gonna do half a cup of oil. Now, I'll give you a trick. If you don't want to use oil, you can also use applesauce. Applesauce will also keep it moist. It helps to keep it moist, believe it or not, and it will not taste like apples. Now, we're going to need 3 eggs. 3 eggs right now. Now, I've got a regular whisk. You can use a mixer, but I just like using a whisk. It just works more convenient for me, and it's a lot easier to clean, just from my opinion. If you have a mixer, you can use that as well. So what we're going to do is just going to get that mixed up in there. What you want to do is just mix it really well. And you'll see it starting to thicken up. Make sure you get all your batter from the sides. Now what you don't want are lumps in there. So you want to get your eggs mixed up. You want to get all the flour blended in there together. What you do not want is leftover flour residual. All right. That's looking good right there. So now we've got that mixed. Here's what we're gonna do next. Let's move this whisk out of the way. It's gonna just put this over in the sink here. It's always best to clean as you go. Therefore, at the end, you don't have a lot of mess to do. Now, what you're gonna do, how we're gonna doctor this up, we're gonna take 1 whole bag of milk chocolate chips, a whole entire bag, all right? You're like, that's a lot of chocolate. You're damn right, that's a lot of chocolate. Dump the whole entire bag over in there. The entire bag. That's a lot of chocolate, but I'm telling you, mark my word, this is going to be awesome. So now what we're gonna do is gonna fold the chocolate chips over into the batter, just to get it all mixed in together. Now, we've got all the chocolate chips in there. Now it's time to get it into a pan. What I have here is a spring-form pan. Now, you don't have to use a spring-form pan. I just prefer to use a spring-form pan because and it has a base already to it. So when the cake comes out, all you do is unhinge the latch, and you don't have to do all that scraping and all that other stuff like that. So this just works really good for me. But if you don't have a spring form pan, you can use 2 regular cake pans or 1 regular cake pan. However you want to do it, you can use whatever works for you. Now, we're gonna make sure we oil this up. So here's how I do it. I don't let anything go to waste. Anything. The residual oil that we had from when we put it into the cake, I'm just gonna take a paper towel. Now you can take a pastry brush as well. But again, not everybody has these utensils at home. So we're gonna make it simple so that you can do it even if you don't have a pastry brush. Take a paper towel. You're gonna dip it into that oil, and we're gonna grease the pan here. You're gonna get it really nice and greased, all right? You wanna grease the bottom, grease the sides as well. So all you're gonna do, and what this does as well, it helps you from having to pour out additional oil into the sink, because now you're reusing it. You just wanna make sure that your pan is nice and oiled up. I like to take some aluminum foil. Now this is not necessary, but this is just insurance for me. And I just literally just like to wrap the bottom, because sometimes on these spring form pans, you may have a little bit of the zhuzh leak out of the bottom of it. And you don't want the zhuzh to make out of the bottom of it. So I just put some foil on the bottom just in case. It's not necessary, it's just my precaution. So now with that done, we're gonna take this cake batter and just pour that all into the pan. And you're gonna use your rubber spatula to make sure that you get it all in there. Scrape them sides. We don't wanna leave any of this goodness in this bowl. And then, whatever's left, you can use to your discretion. So now that we've got this in here, what we're gonna do is put this in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 30-35 minutes. Now, when you're putting it into the oven, what you wanna do is always cook it on the middle rack. So we're just gonna do is sit this in there. We're gonna forget about that for 30-35 minutes. We're gonna set the timer here. What's gonna happen is, because we have that whole bag of chocolate chips in there, when the cake comes out, it's gonna seem like it's not done because the chocolate is melted on the inside. But it's gonna be done, it's gonna be the chocolate that's melted. Let's get this out the way. So, I'm gonna take a quick break so I can clean this up. When I come back, we're gonna make our filling for it. So don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. Right now, so far, what we've done is we've made our base. We've got the cake with the chocolate chips in there. We've got it cooking in a 350-degree oven. So now we've got to make the filling for it. And that's going to be a peanut butter filling. Now, this one, very simple. What we're going to take is, got about 1/2 cup of peanut butter here, creamy peanut butter. You can use whatever you like, Jiffy, peanut butter, it don't matter what type you like. Just use 1/2 cup of peanut butter. We have a cup of powdered confectioner sugar. And then what we're gonna take is some heavy whipping cream. Now I have it in the freezer because you want whipping cream to be cold. You want it to be really cold. So what we're gonna do is take this whipping cream. Now you wanna have a bowl that's big enough, because once you start beating the whipping cream, it's gonna rise. Take your powdered sugar, we're gonna dump that in there. All right, so we got that in there. Now you wanna take whatever mix you have. I got Old Faithful. I've been using this one for years, and it hasn't let me down yet. This is an old General Electric, probably 1984. I don't know what year it is, but nonetheless, start off on low. Got the powdered sugar in there. If you start it on high, you're gonna have powdered sugar everywhere. Everywhere. And what you do not want is powdered sugar everywhere. What you're gonna do is beat this until it becomes very firm and stiff. Now you don't want to overbeat it, because if you overbeat it, you're going to have butter. And we don't want to have butter. Butter wouldn't be bad, honestly, but you don't want to overbeat it. Now that I've got the powdered sugar incorporated, I'm going to kick it up. So now I'm going to kick it up on full power, because you want that high speed so it can whip. So you see how thick it's getting? It's getting a lot thicker. This is what you want. So this is where we're at right here. This is the consistency you're looking for. All right, so now this is the consistency you're looking for, where you can just scoop it and it's stiff, just like that. All right, so now we're gonna take the peanut butter. You're gonna add the peanut butter to that. Take that peanut butter, put that right over in there. Try to get, again, you don't wanna leave anything. Get all the yum-yums out the bowl. So now what we're gonna do, you're gonna just fold. We're not mixing anymore because you don't wanna over-mix it. You're just gonna fold the peanut butter over into the whipping cream. Now, you got it all incorporated. Now what you wanna do, you just wanna taste it. Get out of here. Oh my gosh, get out of here. Where are we going, Keon? Right into this. I'm swimming in this whole bucket of peanut butter filling. This is fantastic. Out of bounds. So what we're gonna do, while the cake is still cooking, you don't wanna leave this out because obviously it's whipped cream. Just gonna put this in the refrigerator. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it in the freezer. I just stick it in the freezer only because, you know, it's the freezer. Now you don't want it to freeze, but you do want it to thicken up and stay cold. All right? So let's just move all this out the way, because now, once we get all this out the way, now we're gonna make what I was telling you guys about, that chocolate ganache, that fancy word that sounds scary, but it's not scary at all. All right, so here's what we're gonna need for the chocolate ganache. You're gonna need 1 bag of Hershey's milk chocolate, or any milk chocolate chips you like to use. 1 cup of milk. You're gonna need a pad of butter, just a pad of butter, and that's all. Milk, chocolate, butter. Simple, right? So all we're gonna do is take 1 cup of milk. We're gonna put this into a pot. And we're gonna get this on the stove. And you don't wanna bring it to a boil. You wanna watch this. Because milk, if it boils over, it can be very dangerous. If it spills over to the fire, to the fire here, it can cause a lot of damage. So you wanna watch milk. So that's why we're not bringing it to a boil. We just wanna heat it up, right? So while that's heating up right there, what we're gonna do is dump this bag of chocolate into a bowl. Now you can use a glass bowl, a steel bowl. I like to use a steel or metal bowl. You want to make sure you stir the milk too, because a lot of times, again, the milk will get stuck to the bottom and you'll scorch the milk. That's not what you want to do. Just stir the milk, bring it to a high temperature to where it's almost ready to boil. And that don't take long at all. Don't overcomplicate your life when it comes to cooking. Cooking is fun. Let cooking be fun. So now we just want to keep stirring this milk. You never can let milk just sit. If you let milk sit for too long, you're gonna have some stuck milk at the bottom. It's gonna start to burn. All right, so what we're gonna do now is cut this off. You can see the steam coming from the pot. You can see that steam coming from the pot, which means it's ready. So we're just gonna take that off the stove, because again, you do not want it to boil over. So now, get my whisk here. So now, all you're gonna do is slowly pour the milk over onto the chocolate. All right, let that sit for a second. And what you're gonna do is take a pad of butter. Now I say a pad, but I just like to go a little bit more. All the butter does, kind of gives it that sheen that ganaches are known for. Now you don't wanna go fast. You wanna just go slowly. Start moving that around. And you'll eventually start to see the chocolate melting. You're mixing it until you get that consistency, just like that. Make sure the butter is melted in there. Now this is gonna have to set, because you don't want to use this right off, because it's too loose. So now it's melted. All right, that's good to go. So now I'm just gonna set this aside. Y'all stay right there and we'll be right back. Alright, so let's check on this cake here. Yep. Looks like that is done. So we'll just sit that right there. Yeah, when the cake comes out, I have it sitting on a cooling rack. You want it to cool because what you cannot do is frost the cake while it's hot. So let's see. Yep. Cake is good to go. So, didn't get any residual up under there, so that was good. So now, like I said, with the springform pan, all you have to do is release it, and it comes right off. That comes right off. I'm just gonna sit that to the side. All right, so what you wanna do now, take a sharp serrated knife, and you wanna cut the cake all the way through. Cut it in half. So now what you wanna do, take the top layer, and sit that right there. All right, so now we've got the two cakes split in half. So what I'm gonna do now, we're gonna get our frosting that we've had sitting in the freezer. And I'm actually gonna wipe this knife off. So what we're gonna do, you're gonna take your frosting that we made earlier. This is our peanut butter whipped frosting. All right, so we're gonna sit that right there on the cake. So now you've got that on there. So what I'm gonna use is this knife. Now you can use a butter knife if you have a cake spreader, whatever you have. I'm using this because I like the width and the length of it. It's perfect. So what we're gonna do now, we're just gonna spread that evenly. Now, I'm using a knife. You don't necessarily have to use a knife because I don't want you cutting yourself. Now, it don't have to look all nice and perfect or anything like that. It really doesn't. Now, what you can do if you want to go onto the sides, spread that evenly like that. Get that off. And just smooth out the sides. Then you can do that there. So you just want to smooth out the sides here. Bada bing, bada boom. And now you're good to go. So that looks nice. That looks really good. That looks really good. So now that that's smoothed out, what we're gonna take now is the other half of the cake that we cut in half. You wanna take this and carefully sit it on top. Just like that. So now, that's what you're looking at. That's what you want right there. All right, so what we want to do now, we got to put the ganache over this. So we're going to take this cooling rack here. The same cooling rack that we had the resting on it. We're going to put it over a bowl. Now, I'm using the same mixing bowl that we use. So this is why you need a base. This is why you need a base for the cake, because once you put the chocolate on, you want it to fall back into that bowl, and you can use it for something else. What we're gonna do is take our ganache out the refrigerator that we set aside. I'll put it in the fridge just so it can cool off a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is take a ladle. I'm just gonna start the ladle. Look at that. Look at all that chocolatey goodness. You can dip strawberries into this. You can dip bananas into this. Whatever you want to dip, you can cookies, Rice Krispie treats. This can be used for so much. You can top ice cream with it. Anything you want to do with ganache, you can do with it. So what we're gonna do is gonna ladle this over the cake, just like this. We're gonna let this drip down on the sides, like such. This is why you need that base. Now, if you don't have a metal base, like we have for the springform pan, what you can use is you can cut a piece of cardboard out. You can get some wax paper and do that. What we're doing now, we're just letting this drizzle all over the sides. And it's gonna eventually cover the entire cake. So now, while that's dripping, you just wanna let that drip for a second. And once it's done dripping, you can move it back to a plate or to anything that you wanna house it on. So for right now, we're just gonna let that drip down into the bowl. So now, you know, I haven't let it set long enough, but you can let it set a lot longer. I'm just gonna cut into this, cause I don't know about y'all, but I'm not finna sit here and wait until that does. Look at that. Look at that right there. Just gonna scoop that up from the bottom. Let's get a nice piece of that there. Bring it over here. And that's what you have right here. A chocolatey, peanut buttery, just heaven. Heaven. Let's taste this real quick. Now, sorry y'all can't taste this with me. So, I got your back. Wow. That is amazing. That is freaking amazing. And look, you see how easy that was? That wasn't hard. That was not difficult at all. You can do this at home. Your kids can do this at home. Do it with your kids. Anyone can do this recipe. So now you've made a decadent dessert that will wow your friends and wow your family. While they think that you're some fancy chef, that you went to school for this, you did it with simple ingredients. Ingredients so simple that anybody can do it. Damn, that's too easy. Until next time, that's all for Damn, That's Easy. See you next time.